Alright, what's good everybody? It's your boy EMW Figure Shelf, and today I haven't done a figure review in a long time, but I will review the WWE Defining Moments figures. And before I get into them, as you can see for the EMW fans, here's a sneak preview of the EMW Wrestle Clash Arena, which will be, I will be doing production as soon as I can. It's going to be a 2-day event. So, look out for the card. I will be posting the card sooner rather than later. Moment of Madness is on, the page as well. The big 60-man Battle Royal. So, feel free to check that out, if you haven't done so already. I guarantee you is very entertaining. In my personal opinion, it's the best video I've done, ever. I definitely want you to, stay tuned for all that. But here's the setup. Before I get into this review, there's the stage. Never had a stage like this, so I'm very pleased with the way it came out. This is a 24-inch Dell monitor, actually. This is a screen my old man was using, and he didn't need it anymore. He upgraded his set, so I figured, hey, I'll take it off your hands. So I used that with an old Roku. Boom, good to go. And, I just put some, aesthetics all around it. I have the EMW sign I got from a seller on eBay that was from Australia. And, everything else is kind of just like an aesthetic thing. You see the cloud background playing up that Wrestle Clash graphics. I'll just try to play up the graphics as best as I can. Even the shout out to my good friend J.R. Earls, brother from another mother, who made the crowd signs. As you can see, there's the Wrestle Clash signs that he did there. Even got a good old green shirt guy, Smiley, in the front row. But, this is what you see so far. And then also, my other brother from another mother, Ring Skirts, hooking me up with the custom ring canvas, as well as the skirt, and then the banners up top. So, very clean setup. And then also, shout out to Wrestleistic on the LED ring posts, as you would see on Momentum Madness. And then the LED barricades that I had gotten as well. There's a video showing that as well on this page. And then MK Collections with the EMW announce table, as you can see right there. That I kind of put like a little, that's like a magnetized thing. I print out the logos and just, take it off as needed and put whatever I want on there. So, so that's the setup so far. But either way, you guys came here to see the Defining Moments figures. So without any further ado. Alright, first up, we're going to take a look at one of my all-time favorites, the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle. I would say, as far as attire goes, it's not my favorite attire he's ever had, but it does give me that SmackDown Shut Your Mouth nostalgia. Here's a look at the Defining Moments packaging. I'm happy that the Defining Moments figures still exist. As you can see the side. And then there's the bio right there. I will leave it, try to just get it zoomed as perfectly as possible so that way you guys can read it. So you can pause right there if you want to read that. And then there's the back shot of him from Backlash 2002 after Edge had shaved his head. And without any further ado, we're going to crack this bad boy open. A random thing, I don't know if you guys do this, but I like actually cutting these out and making them as like little inserts. Sometimes I'll have a stage part where I have like a little like insert, like a clear like a folder type of thing, like a sleeve, like a folder sleeve that you would put in like a binder. And I'll stick these in as if it was like a mini Tron or some type. So that's just me. So I like holding on to these. But getting into the rest of the figure, and actually let's look at the accessories. Interchangeable hands that you see pretty much standard for Mattel figures. There's those shears, that buzzer. Really happy they included that. Last time I think I remember seeing that was, I think, the ringside CM Punk figure. Way back in the day, the Straight Society. And then there's the pre-haircut Kurt Angle head. And I want to get a really good look at this one because I know there's some quality control errors, pretty often. So far, from what I saw from my figure, it looks pretty good. Yeah, as you can see, this Kurt Angle head with the short hair. The eyes, to me, the application is a little wonky. I don't feel like it's as, like, perfected as they could. You know, I don't know if it's really a quality control thing or it's just the technology they're using, but it's not the best execution of it, but it's not, like, horrible. I mean, with this day and age, especially, honestly, with the money we're spending, you know, definitely want to up the ante on the quality control aspect. And then we get the, which I love this head. This is probably my favorite one of this figure in particular. The shaved cream angle reaction with the shaving cream that you can put on top. And let's see here. Like, Alex West has done a review. It doesn't really sit. I mean, you can put, like, a sticky tack on it, but trying to balance it is definitely tricky. And there you go. Like, you gotta be a little patient with it, I guess the best way to say it. But let's look at the actual figure now. Here's the rest of the figure, the way it comes in the package. Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle, as you can see here, he also has three more accessories, I should say. He's got the hairpiece that he used to have with the wrestling headgear, as you can see there, and try to get, you know, a good attention to detail. I like the headpiece. I remember Jax did this back in the day, and Jax did a bang-up job on it too. But yeah, I like Mattel's execution on it. So take that off. And then the medals, the red, white, and blue Olympic gold medals, we come to see quite often with the Kurt Angle figures. And let's see here. I mean, there's never really any type of detail on it. I kind of wish Mattel would do this by now. Put something on there other than just leave it blank. But it is what it is. You know, maybe eventually. I remember Bill McKean saying at one point they do remake molds or have to remake molds at a certain level. So maybe it's one of those things they can do, but I know it's not like a priority. And it's, you know, it's just a minor thing, in my opinion, as well. But seeing the rest of this Kurt Angle, as you can see, not very good quality control on this body type, I should say, as is. Well, the attire, I should say. The paint applications are really good. You could even see, like, the little stars. The paint application, to me, looks fine. And, you know, going around here. Well, I think I see a little some on the leg that I just noticed now. Yep. Yeah, I spoke too soon. Come on, guys. What are we doing? And, yes, not too bad on that side, but, man, come on. I mean, none I can't fix, but still, for what you pay, you want it good. But, you know, angle going down the boots. Oh, I just noticed, you know, black on that side, red on that side. Yeah, that's cool. And then the A there, you know, still brings me back to when, The Rock didn't realize Angle had a haircut and goes, "Who the blue hell are you?" And he's like, "It's Kurt Angle. What's the A stand for?" It stands for Angle. I think it stands for a-hole. But yeah, definitely one of my all-time favorites. Like I said, you know, it's just so much entertainment. And actually, look at the bald head stand. Cool. I mean, not bad. It does remind me a little bit of like Eric Angle. When they had Eric Angle shave his head also, when they used to do like the switcheroos from back in the day. So it does remind me a little more of Eric Angle. But, I mean, you could kind of tell it's Kurt. You know, again, not my favorite Kurt Angle overall from the collection. I really like that latest Legends figure we just got. You know, with the black singlet, with the, you know, the gritty head scan. But definitely, this was a figure I had to get for, you know, the personal nostalgia of it. Then you see Kurt with this head, with the short hair, going into that match. And here's basically what happened. So, this is the shot from Judgment Day 2002, basically. And I didn't realize this is actually pretty much the same gear Edge wore that day. So, very cool of Mattel to, like, basically give us that match in a nutshell. So, yeah, really nice. I like this. Yeah, definitely, if you're a big Kurt Angle fan, I would recommend it. As we move on, here's the defining moments, Paul Heyman from ECW One Night Stand 2005, and I might have a little bit of things to say about this one as well. But here we go. This is the, you know, same thing, the defining moments packaging. There's Paul Heyman there, and then I will leave this in a spot where you guys can pause and read. Alright, so there's the picture of him. I actually think it's funny that they used a picture from him on a Monday Night Raw leading up to that. Actually might even be from the following year in 2006 when they were doing some build-up. It was either 2005 or 2006 that shot in particular was taken. But, it's in the same vein of what this was. The following year in 2006, he kind of had a similar look as well. But to me, when I see this, I think of that 2005 promo that I love very much. But anyway, let's crack this bad boy open now, too. As we get a look, the additional accessories, once again, the Mattel hands. You have the open hands. You have one of the pointing finger hand that goes on the right arm. The open hand to grip like a microphone or a chair or whatever you want Heyman to have for the left arm. And then the headset they used to wear around his neck quite a bit. Which we will get that going on him as well. Let's take a look at the figure now. So getting a good look now at the Paul Heyman. I love it. First impressions so far, I love it right out of the package. I do have a little bit of things I want to say though, and we will look at the rest of these accessories. I'm happy to have an ECW microphone first off that goes all the way around. I know sometimes Mattel, they would kind of scrimp on putting decals or logos on the entire microphone. So, as you can see there, and it's the classic purple logo that I really like a lot. I always enjoyed this one. This was the logo that was first exposed to me when I first started seeing ECW as a young kid. Right before, like a year or two before they went out under, as well as even during like the Alliance era. I remember seeing this seldomly on like ECW on TNN. So, love that so far. Then here is the ECW lanyard. Alright, so I got the lanyard in one of my handy-dandy magnifying glasses here. And as you can see, it says ECW 2006, all area access. Originally, you would think, okay, not a big deal. They had ECW One Night Stand in 2006. Yeah, that's fine. However, we're basing the figure off ECW 2005 when he cut that nice promo. So, yeah, I don't know, Mattel. I mean, if you're going to do a defining moments based on, this is just my personal opinion, if you're going to do a defining moments, and I know it's not the big deal, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but if you're going to do figures based on a certain moment in time, make it as accurate as you can, unless it was a printing error, but I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those things where you pay money, good money for the figures, you want the best detail possible, but I can overlook it. It's nothing that can't be overlooked or anything like that. It is what it is, I guess, but, So, here's the jacket, and I'm glad it comes with the hood. I remember him wearing this. I do remember this type of jacket, even when he cut that promo on Vince McMahon right before the go-home to Survivor Series 2001 during the Alliance era, where he, had that phenomenal promo where he was just like, sports entertainment! We have to have sports entertainment! And then, talking about all the old promoters that Vince basically screwed around. So, this is really cool. I'm glad we finally got this on a Paul Heyman. He also wore this for his Hall of Fame induction, too. But here's Heyman in the suit. I know there was some gapping, there was some gaps going on the arms for Alex West. Luckily for my sake, it looks good. I can't complain at all. The figure's really stiff, I can say that, and I feel like I'm having a little bit of a hard time keeping it straight for some reason, because it's still so stiff from being in the packaging. But get a look at the figures. There's the shoes, the brown, nice shoes he wears a lot, and then as you can see, it's kind of like a dark grayish type of suit. And then that, powder blue shirt with the, kind of like white and gray striped tie. And there's the Heyman head. Try to get a good focus. It looks like Heyman is about to, rip one of those classic ECW promos at somebody. It looks like he's trying to get thrown off the air on TNN. The one thing I could say is, I'm happy in a way that they molded it together. The ECW hat on here, however, it is a little bit of a bummer because I was hoping, maybe they could take the hat off and the ponytail could kind of come off and maybe I could get away with it looking like a modern Heyman, because I don't have a modern Heyman Elite. I never did. I always had that basic, that came with in a 2-pack with like Brock Lesnar way back when. So I never had a, somewhat of a modern Heyman Elite, which it's not a big deal. I prefer younger Heyman anyway, and this was like my favorite like kind of rendition of him, so I'm not at all upset about it. It would have been something cool to prefer, because that way I can at least like utilize it in modern shots, but you can always pop the head off these guys nowadays, so not a bad thing to do. I can always find maybe somewhere loose a modern Heyman head to pop right on here. But I love it, man. This is definitely an awesome Paul Heyman to have, especially if you're an ECW fan, especially if you're a fan of those one-night stand pay-per-views. I know a lot of people, the hardcore, the real diehard ones that went to Philly, they're a little mixed on the WWE pay-per-views that they did, but I loved it. I loved it because it was at least like an opportunity for somebody like me who missed in real time those Philly shows, to experience, at least for the 2005, an authentic replication of what ECW was at a point. So where I was able to go back in time and just become a huge ECW fan. So I love it. Great job overall on this one. Obviously some minor issues, but nothing that I can't, look past.
Well, hell, son, this is the reason why we came here, right? I said, this is the reason we came here for good old Stone Cold.
Anybody that knows me knows as soon as this figure dropped, I immediately had to pull the trigger on this. Once this pre-order came out, this is what I was waiting for my whole life, basically, because this shot right here, and I will do the honors of zooming in right here and framing it for you guys to get a look at that and read it, pause it. But this shot here, anybody that knows me knows this was the very first wrestling match at 5 years old, which scared the hell out of me. I knew what blood was at 5, and I shouldn't have, but yeah, I was a big Jurassic Park fan, and then I knew my father was in the wrestling business, like on the local level, so I knew about wrestling. I've seen blood before in my life at that time, and it was terrifying, but this shot is what started my wrestling obsession. Just watching this match at a very young age, getting goosebumps about it, looking at it now, and then seeing Austin get up and just beat the hell out of the referees, man. Like, it's a feeling that you can't explain. And I'm so happy, so happy for an obvious reason that we're getting this figure. But without any further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Alright, so your accessories here is the classic Stone Cold Steve Austin vest. I've seen these plenty of times. I have one of these from his original Legends figure, when Mattel first started their lathe. I don't know, in an era now where we're doing cloth shirts again, and we're doing the best version of the cloth shirts possible, and we've seen, like that pleather material, we've seen it on, like, a Ricochet. I would rather a pleather Stone Cold vest. That's just me. Then you got the closed fist hands. We've seen those plenty of times. I haven't seen one of these Mattel ring bells in a while, and I feel like I haven't seen one with the string, though. That's kind of neat. I feel like I've seen a lot of the Mattel ones have had that, like, rubber string, so that's cool. Not a bad accessory to have. I don't remember the bell looking that. I think it was blue. I actually painted a Jax one a long time ago. I believe this is the bell they had. But yeah, I painted this a long time ago to replicate, like, the 80s / like new generation era type bell that they would have had back then. I did things a little differently. I alternated the heads, so that way here's the head that it came with. and the one I really wanted, I put on the figure. I'm not the biggest fan of that type of head. I feel like it's small for Stone Cold. You know, proportionary wise, it's a great likeness. Don't get me wrong. I could see it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. I just feel like his head's, different shape than that. Not bad. I also think they could have, they have enough in their archive right now in that warehouse that they could have given it something better. But let's take a look at the figure now. Let's bring this bad boy up. And I want to have some initial reactions. So, let's just get right into it, man. We finally, after all these years, 15 years of waiting, patiently, thinking, we may never see blood on a Mattel figure. If there's anybody to do it on,
it's the old Texas rattlesnake, son. Stone Cold, right?
I love it. I biasly love. To me, this is my figure of the year for Mattel. You're not gonna deter me otherwise. I know it has its fair share of issues. I know that the Ultimate Edition Stone Cold that recently came out, that unfortunately I hate seeing it shelf form in Walmart, but I had done some fix-ups to that, and that is my my absolute favorite Stone Cold overall. But this just out of package without doing any type of customization to it is phenomenal. I love this. I can't express how much they did such a great job on the staining of the blood. It's running in his eyes, and that expression, man, it just brings me back. And I love the inclusion of the shirt, man. I remember seeing the shirt quite a bit in, from both, from the Attitude Era, watching on Royals War, as well as some of the games. I believe this shirt was either in No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, one of the other. But as you can see, Bloodstone right there on the back. Let's try to get a good zoom. And, a great detail. As you can see, there's the WWE Attitude right there. I love it, man. And I want to take a look to see at the body type. I know there's some staining issues, so let's take a look at that. Luckily, I have no staining at all. Maybe I should play the lottery because, wow, I love it. This is great. And I got this in the mail yesterday, and I didn't open until today. So this was sitting, for like the last day or so, and no staining at all. I'm surprised. I'm surprised and I'm happy. I love the body type on this. I do like the bigger arms. I'm glad they finally gave him some bigger arms. It's a little snug. I feel like if you move it around, the shoulder joints definitely do seem a little bigger. Again, I like the bulkiness on it, but I do think the shoulder joints could have been a little bit altered. And then the legs, I feel like still are somewhat still kind of. They could be a little bulkier. I mean, I remember the Ultimate definitely feels like it has bigger legs. But, man, I love this dude. I want to see them definitely, and I think MDT, My Damn Toys, brought this up too. I want to see the Royal Rumble 2001 head where he was just a bloody mess and it was just full of blood. That to me was prime Attitude Era Stone Cold. But yeah, man, this is phenomenal. One thing I gotta say though, and here's my nitpick, and it's not about this figure, because to me, I love this figure. Easily a top Stone Cold figure for me personally. We got that WrestleMania 13 pack coming out. I wish that this head was in that package. I wish that's how they gave us this. I'm not upset about this at all. I'm happy we got this. But knowing that we were going to get that, knowing we're going to get the best looking Bret Hart possible, knowing that we're going to get better Ken Shamrock heads, and I've wanted a Ken Shamrock in a referee gear for a long time. Man, dude, I wish that this figure was in that, and they would have maybe given us, something else in the place of this, but again, for the very first bloody figure, WrestleMania 13 was the way to go. And I guess because it was easier to package this in ringside collectibles as opposed to making that Walmart exclusive, which it's going to be, that 3-pack. Walmart seems to be getting those 3-packs quite a bit. But yeah, man, this is the Stone Cold. So there's the roundup of the figures. I would have gone the whole wave if they didn't have a peg warmer in it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, hey guys, if you're a Logan Paul fan, kudos to you. I have a Logan Paul figure that top picks with the blue and yellow. That was good to me. I really didn't care for that Logan Paul. And I think, they could have put somebody a little bit closer to this era, because we're talking like pre-somewhat Attitude Era, all the way up to the Ruthless Aggression Era between these 3 figures. I feel like Logan Paul was out of place in general, regardless of how people feel about him. So, I can't say enough good things. Kudos to Mattel, kudos to Ringside. Again, little nitpicks here and there. Quality control on my set was really good, but I'm overall happy with this. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys pick any of these up? Did you guys have any issues with this? I definitely want Mattel to step their game up for everybody else. It's unfortunate that there's quality control issues, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. Thank you all for watching this, and I will catch y'all on the next one.
Peace!